Hey, this is Logan. Today we've got a plank replacement that we're doing. There seems to be a crack in the plank. Feels like there's something under it. Regardless of what the problem is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how we take this plank out without having to remove the floor. These planks can just be cut out and a new one can be put in. So what I do to start is I'll just get a piece of tape. It doesn't matter which side of the plank you put the piece of tape on. I'll show you why I'm doing that in a second. You'll make sure that you do not put the piece of tape on the plank that you're replacing, and all I'm doing is I am just marking right here. That is where the plank ends, and then just same thing over here. That is where our plank ends. Next thing that we'll do, I'm gonna grab, I just have a handheld saw. You can use a regular circular saw or hand saw. You can use an oscillating tool, a Dremel. Those types of things tend to cut these out a little bit quicker. Really anything that you can use to cut this floor out. Here I have just a scrap piece of floor that I'm going to use to set my depth. You do not want to cut through the subfloor. You only want to cut it deep enough to where it just barely gets through the floor. I'll set that depth. Let me get my vacuum over here and plugged in. So when we're cutting this plank, of course you just want to make sure that you do not cut into the planks that you're not removing for obvious reasons. There's a couple different ways that you can cut a plank out. You can cut right down the center and then split off to the corners. That works. You can also just make a cut. I usually go about 4 inches, 3 inches in from the edge of the plank, and then I just cut a horizontal cut from edge to edge, and then one down the middle, and then edge to edge on this side. You can do either one. What I'm gonna do on this side, I will cut a straight cut. On this side, I will cut the angled cut, just so you can see that both of them work. What I'll do is I'll start cutting in the center and then get my hand behind my saw so that way it doesn't kick back. I'll work my way back a little bit so it gets to the edge, and then I'll go all the way. It's a little bit tricky because I'm also going to be holding the vacuum on here so a bunch of the dust doesn't go everywhere. So as you can see down here, oh sorry, we'll get this out of your way. As you can see right here is a straight cut. Down here on this side, I cut to the corners. It really doesn't matter. They're just relief cuts, so that way you can get underneath this board. See, this comes out clean right here. Same with on this side, you can cut it out clean. So, you can take that, this crack was right here, we'll find out what's under it. And we did find the culprit. It looks like there's a piece of floor that was underneath it. Okay, keep that on. So, let's see, give you a better view. I have this tool I use if I need to hit planks. There's double-sided tape that goes on this end. So I just need to get this thing of double-sided tape on here. Set it on here, hit it, and you'll see that it starts to separate that. Then I can pull it off. Okay, now that your plank is completely out, you need to go around, vacuum it, and make sure there's nothing that's going to prevent it from locking back in on this side. And then if you look down here on the subfloor that I cut, you can see that it probably went down like maybe a 1/16 of an inch. That's okay, that's good. You either barely want to cut it or not at all. So as long as you're not cutting down too far, you're okay. All right, and now we're gonna use where I marked on the floor. Grab my double-sided tool. If you can do this, if the floor allows you to move it, this makes it easier. You can't do this on every single job, but notice that it's moving this plank that way. And then we'll go down to this side. Do the exact same thing. So we'll stick this on here. I just make sure that your tongue is past that line. Then we spread it out far enough so that when we drop our plank in, we can hit this row back and it locks it in place. So, this is just a scrap piece of floor. All I'm using this for is I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna cut off this groove right here, so that way when I install it, it's going to lay down flat just like this. And then we'll put some glue in here, I'll show you that. But not all floor will allow you to cut it with your knife, so sometimes you've got to get a table saw set up. So all I do is I angle my blade. The first pass is just a score mark. Do not try and cut through this backing on that first pass. You're just gonna end up, your knife's gonna go everywhere and you're gonna cut most likely into your floor. First pass, sometimes second pass, is just to score it. You can go with the feel. It seems like this is cutting pretty easy, so go. Make sure you get the little shavings out. So now that you have that part cut off, what I do is I just go and I just check to make sure that it is going to fit. And you notice, I mean, I don't even have to glue anything down and it's a tight fit right there. So that is going to be good enough. So now I know that just shaving that off is going to work. So now what we do, you do not want to do this over the floor or else your knife is going to go through and you're going to scratch up your floor. So what I do, a light pass, get your score, even a second light pass to score it. It's not going to hurt you. Then you can go down. And once you get here, move it up a little bit. One pass to score. That seems to be coming off pretty easy, so second pass, cut that. And then the last one. Get your score. Okay, so make sure we get our shavings back out. Okay, now that we've got our shavings out, we'll go through another time. Crucial, I mean, vacuum and clean this out as much as you need to. It's better to be safe and have it clean. And now we can use our marks on the blue tape as our reference. So what I can do, and because I was able to move it, hit these planks this way and this way, I can actually get it in place exactly where it needs to go. I can go through and make sure that it does fit and lock in. Sometimes you need to push it down in. If it's a tight fit, that's good. Okay, so we're gonna be able to use that piece. I've got two types of glue that I use for this. This is a glue gun from Crane. They make glue sticks for tack strips, for carpet. I also use it for transition pieces and for this situation as well. Then I've also just got some construction adhesive, just a smaller tube of the Gorilla Glue. You don't need a lot, so cut off just a small tip of it. And what I'll do, because your Gorilla Glue takes more time to set up, the hot glue that I have, it's got, I believe, a 90-second working time. So I'll put that one on last, but you'll want to squeeze this glue. You do not want to put a lot on there. If there's too much in here, your floor is not going to sit flat like this. So you only need a little bit. That's actually going to hold it. So what I'll do, I'll go down every so often. Put just a bead of this glue. Okay, so we've got enough of the Gorilla Glue on. Now, same thing with your hot glue. You do not want a lot on here or else it's going to prevent your plank from resting flat. So get it so it's just barely coming out. once you get to your other glue, you can stop. All right, now that you've got your glue on, you want to work a little quick. Remember, use your reference points on your floor. Get it pushed in and locked in that way. And then, here, I gotta hit this a little bit this way. Okay, so I had to hit that plank just a little bit more. And then, you just want to keep pressure on it. Again, this hot glue sets up in about 90 seconds. And then to help it stay, once you get the long side down, you can get your tool back in. Let's go to the other side. We can close this up. You get that back closed up, and what it most likely does, if you want to show down here, it usually does this, is because you're hitting it this way, it'll separate this one. So now you just go. You get that one back in. Now, if you look, we'll take this out. That's the plank we replaced, and it's as if nothing happened. So what I'll do, I will take, let's see if I can find, so if I just take this, you'll see that there's no lip. It goes down flat. So that is how you do a plank replacement in the middle of your floor. You save time so you don't have to take out all the way to a wall one direction or the other. It's possible. It definitely takes some time doing and some time learning. I mean, I've replaced hundreds of planks, so I've been doing it for a while. Sometimes things don't go the right way while you're doing it. You just need to be able to work quickly because that glue does set up pretty quick. But yeah, stay tuned for some more videos.